in Bald Eagle where this happened. Trey Green on the rush, put him in a coffin, sends the Huntington defender to the ground, and will take this one all the way to the house. He feasted all day. It's a 43-yard touchdown. There's the hit again, breaks the tackle, keeps going all the way to the house. What an excellent run. How are we doing on this Friday football night? I'm Austin Gruff, and we'll have more games from around the area.
And I'm John Drigger. We'll also take you into Ann Arbor, where Penn State looks to become bowl eligible pending a matchup with the number 5 Michigan Wolverines. All of that and more coming up on After the Whistle. Our game of the week takes us down to Penns Valley, where the 5-2 Rams host the 6-1 Tyrone Golden Eagles. And we get set here. The Golden Eagles looking to try to improve to 7-1, taking on a Penns Valley team. On the second drive for Tyrone, Ashton Walk finding Andrew Weaver for a 3-yard pitch and catch for the touchdown. That was Weaver's second touchdown of the night, and Tyrone goes up 14-7. Later in the game, right before half, Brady Ronan punches it in 1 yard out, and Tyrone would take a 21-7 lead up until the fourth quarter. Now in the fourth quarter, Jackson Roman trying to find an option, throws it off to Dannon Kerstetter. Players say no, refs say yes. Penns Valley ties up the game at 21. And with about a minute left on 4th and 3, Penns Valley driving it, trying to take its first lead of the game. Romick throws it to Miles Brooks, who takes it all the way, 28 yards for the touchdown. Penns Valley completes the comeback, picking up the win, 28-21. Penns Valley now finds themselves at 6-2. With a date at Midwest Mustangs. Tyrone suffers their second loss of the season after starting 5-0. They take on Hollidaysburg next Friday. Now joining us here in the studio is Allie Winskowski, who was at the game tonight. Allie, 21-7, Tyrone was leading, and all of a sudden, Penns Valley comes out with the victory. What happened?
What a game it was, John. The Tyrone was winning the entire first half of the game, and they come out. The Rams never stop fighting to come out with the victory. Let's take a look.
Entering the fourth quarter, Penns Valley was looking at a homecoming loss. 3 unanswered touchdowns later, with one coming with less than a minute in the game, the story is entirely different.
It was 4th and 3. I needed 3 yards. That's all I wanted. And I caught the ball, and everything just opened up from there, and there was nothing but me in the end zone. And I made a move, and I was in.
I knew Miles would be open. I hit him. We needed 3 yards, and he gave it to us and the touchdown. He gave us everything we needed.
Quarterback Jackson Romick and wide receiver Miles Brook are optimistic about the future and what this game means for their team moving forward.
This is obviously a huge confidence booster. I mean, everyone's going to be feeling great after this, obviously. And it'll help us in the Mountain League and district standings, and we just look to build on this.
The victory was not only fit for a king, but also for a queen, as the Penns Valley homecoming court was crowned following the comeback. This was the first time a king was crowned in the school's history. Reporting for After the Whistle, I'm Allie Winskowski.
Central Dauphin and Altoona here. Let's take a look as Altoona looks to maintain a 2-game winning streak. Mountain Lions get ready to take on the Rams for senior night at Mansion Park. On the first play of the game, Miles Cooper takes the opening kickoff 45 yards, will set his teammate up for this next possession. Quarterback David Chase will finish the drive with a 4-yard rushing touchdown as Central Dauphin takes the lead 7-0. Altoona's student section with the pink out tries to keep the energy up. We'll pick up action again, Ashton in the second quarter as Chase rushes into the end zone for a second time, putting Central Dauphin up 14-0. On the ensuing drive, Altoona muffs the punt. Mesa Widra will pick it up, lead it all the way to the end zone, 21-0. Central Dauphin maintains the lead. Here again, before the half, intercepted by Sean Betty, rolls into the interception. He'll get the turnover chain, as you'll see here, and he'll show his cleat that came off as he got the interception. Going into halftime, Altoona was up 21-0, but they were unable to get back into the game as Central Dauphin will take care of business 34-14. Central Dauphin's impressive road win will improve them to 3-5, getting back into the win column. Altoona hopes to bounce back on the road next week against Carlisle.
Bald Eagles looking to make it 3 straight wins as they host the Bearcats of Huntington. The Bald Eagles are coming off a dominant 42-13 win over Phillipsburg Osceola last week, and they're looking for more blood. We'll take you to the first drive of the game. Trey Green gets the handoff, bouncing it all the way out to the outside, and then he pinballs off a few Bearcats and rumbling into the end zone for the 43-yard touchdown. Bald Eagle will go up 7-0 and let that big dog eat right there. Now moving on to the Huntington drive there. It looks like it's going to be stopped dead right about the line of scrimmage, but then Trey Green takes up the fumble and has got daylight ahead of him. 63-yard scoop and score. Bald Eagle will head up 21-0 after the first quarter. Later in the second quarter, it's Green yet again, 18 yards out, bumbling into the pay dirt for the score. His third touchdown at the half, pending a PAT. It looks like it's a 2-point conversion, and what is this? Kieran Jadon, give it to the big man, let him eat. Bald Eagle goes up 29-0, and now we head into the middle of the second quarter. Carson Eagle finding Cameron Dubbs out onto the flat, and Alexander Levev clearing a pathway into the end zone for the score. The Eagles would head into the locker room up 36-0 and would go on to win 51-0. Bald Eagle now improves to 5-3 after a 2-3 start. They host Wellsboro next Friday. As for Huntington, they now drop their 6th game of the season and face off against Southern Huntington. Let's take a look at some scores from around District 6. First, Penns Manor takes care of business by taking down Cambria Heights 42-33. Bedford and Central duked it out in overtime, but Central comes out victorious 38-35.
West Branch unable to pull off the road win as Mount Union gets the W 27-7. And also Windber hosted Juneau Valley and dominated on their home field, winning 56-7.
Portage takes down West Shamokin 49-34 for the Wolves' second straight loss. And Westmont Hilltop sneaks out a win over Forest Hills 28-27.
Some more games here. Juniata and Upper Dauphin jousted in a tight one. The home team, I guess you could say, has the upper hand. The Trojans win 20-13. Seems to be a trend here as Northern Bedford also wins at home, remaining unbeaten and gets it done 35-6 over Glendale.
Bald Eagles looking to make it 3 straight wins as they host the Bearcats of Huntington. The Bald Eagles are coming off a dominant 42-13 win over Phillipsburg Osceola last week, and they're looking for more blood. We'll take you to the first drive of the game. Trey Green gets the handoff, bouncing it all the way out to the outside, and then he pinballs off a few Bearcats and rumbling into the end zone for the 43-yard touchdown. Bald Eagle will go up 7-0 and let that big dog eat right there. Now moving on to the Huntington drive there. It looks like it's going to be stopped dead right about the line of scrimmage, but then Trey Green takes up the fumble and has got daylight ahead of him. 63-yard scoop and score. Bald Eagle will head up 21-0 after the first quarter. Later in the second quarter, it's Green yet again, 18 yards out, bumbling into the pay dirt for the score. His third touchdown at the half, pending a PAT. It looks like it's a 2-point conversion, and what is this? Kieran Jadon, give it to the big man, let him eat. Bald Eagle goes up 29-0, and now we head into the middle of the second quarter. Carson Eagle finding Cameron Dubbs out onto the flat, and Alexander Levev clearing a pathway into the end zone for the score. The Eagles would head into the locker room up 36-0 and would go on to win 51-0. Bald Eagle now improves to 5-3 after a 2-3 start. They host Wellsboro next Friday. As for Huntington, they now drop their 6th game of the season and face off against Southern Huntington. Let's take a look at some scores from around District 6. First, Penns Manor takes care of business by taking down Cambria Heights 42-33. Bedford and Central duked it out in overtime, but Central comes out victorious 38-35.
West Branch unable to pull off the road win as Mount Union gets the W 27-7. And also Windber hosted Juneau Valley and dominated on their home field, winning 56-7.
Portage takes down West Shamokin 49-34 for the Wolves' second straight loss. And Westmont Hilltop sneaks out a win over Forest Hills 28-27.
Some more games here. Juniata and Upper Dauphin jousted in a tight one. The home team, I guess you could say, has the upper hand. The Trojans win 20-13. Seems to be a trend here as Northern Bedford also wins at home, remaining unbeaten and gets it done 35-6 over Glendale. Huntington and Tyrone was one of the great games tonight, but there also was a showdown between 2 undefeated teams. 7-0 Penn Cambria traveled to 7-0 Richland. No team puts on a show like Richland. Check out those flashing lights, as Kanye West would say. Penn Cambria is on the board first. Quarterback Garrett Harold connects with Gavin Harold, finds him on the far sideline. Here comes the chest bump, butt slaps all around. Extra point is no good. Panthers lead 6-0. Next up, Richland's Sam Panna passes to Austin Yarnock towards the sideline, getting into the end zone. Look at that touchdown there, up 7-6. Those lights are going again for Richmond. Still in the first quarter, Penn Cambria. Punt will be blocked near the 50. Richland's Zachary Hancock recovers and leaps to the ground, keeps it for the touchdown. Here's Sam Penna again, going back to it, get the touchdown late in the first. Penna hands off to McCracken for this touchdown. Richmond on top, 21-6. The Rams will go on to win 49-42. Richland stays undefeated at 8-0 as the Rams roll over the Penn Cambria Panthers. Next week, Richmond will look to stay perfect against Forest Hills.
While most of the high school football action takes place tonight across the area, the State High Little Lions won't hit the field until tomorrow. A huge showdown in the Med-Penn Commonwealth Division as the number 5 State College Little Lions travel to take on third-ranked Harrisburg at 1 o'clock. State College is coming off a 49-20 home victory against Carlisle last weekend. Harrisburg beat the Lions 15-13 in last year's matchup.
Scorebook Live found a player here in Centre County to put in the national spotlight. The Sports Illustrated partner put State College's own Deontay Sheffy in a national poll to deem who is one of the top freshmen in the country. The tailback currently has over 850 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns over 7 games en route to a 7-0 record. Pennsylvania's own Jalen Harris from Chester won last month's poll. You can find the link to the competition on State College's football's Twitters at State High Football.
Coming up, an inside look at a top 10 matchup in Ann Arbor.
But first, let's take a look at some scores across of all PIAA action. We'll see you soon.
Hello and welcome back to After the Whistle, brought to you by Com Radio, the Centre County Report, and Penn State's chapter of Awesome.
Penn State travels to Ann Arbor to take on the Wolverines in the Big House. The Nittany Lions prepare for a top 10 matchup against Michigan, with both teams seeking a Big Ten Conference title. Andrea Snowdy has the preview.
After a bye week, the Nittany Lions are on the road to the Big House, where they'll play Michigan tomorrow in a top 10 matchup. Both teams are coming into the game undefeated, and the stakes are high.
Guys like PJ, that as coaches and as players and as linebackers, that you have a ton of confidence in that this guy's going to do his job day in and day out.
Since his arrival in Happy Valley in 2014, Coach Franklin has a 3-5 record against Coach Harbaugh's Wolverines. The Nittany Lions are 2-1 over the last 3 games and secured a Penn State win at their last game at the Big House in 2020. Penn State has a much improved ground game this year. The trio of Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, and Kayvon Lee are averaging over 5.4 yards. Defensive tackle P.J. Mustafer and linebacker Curtis will lead the charge to contain Blake, Corum, and the Wolverines' running attack.
Well, Michigan has a great offensive line. You watch them on tape, they do a lot of great things. But we got a job to do. We got to go out there and execute, play out at a high level, and let the chips fall where they may fall.
The Nittany Lions will have to take better care of the ball than they did in the rain-soaked Northwestern game. With Michigan's ground game, possessions may be limited. In State College, I'm Andrea Snowdy for the Center County Report.
Tomorrow's game kicks off at noon, and you can listen live on Penn State Com Radio with our team in Ann Arbor.
What's currently a quiet Michigan Stadium will soon be a packed big house full of maize as Penn State and Michigan have the top 10 matchup tomorrow at noon here in Ann Arbor. Preston Shoemaker alongside Logan Brandis on the call for Com Radio. And Logan, keying in on some of the big takeaways for this game, some things that Penn State needs to do well tomorrow to slow down this Michigan team. What do you have?
Yeah, this Penn State team really needs to find a way to get to J.J. McCarthy, the starting quarterback for the Wolverines, as McCarthy, one of the top in the nation in terms of completion percentage, and Penn State's secondary had a lot of questions kind of coming into that. They've played very well against the pass so far this year. They need to find a way to create turnovers on the new Michigan quarterback. Playing in a maze-out type environment should be a good matchup for this quarterback against the defense of Penn State.
You know, when I look at this game, I see three main takeaways. First, the sack game. Penn State's offensive line has allowed 7 sacks all season. Michigan had 7 sacks last week against Indiana. How can that front line for Penn State really hold up against this tough Michigan defense? Also, you're looking at two defenses here, Logan, that are the top 2 turnover differentials in the Big Ten. Which team's going to win the turnover battle tomorrow? If Penn State can find a way to force turnovers on J.J. McCarthy and keep the ball safe in Sean Clifford's hands, it's going to be a great setup for Penn State. And finally, when you're looking at all things considered for tomorrow, Manny Diaz said it best yesterday. This is a Michigan offense that is well-rounded, one of the only teams in the country to be in the top 5 in both offense and defense, but also doing so in a way that they split between the run and the pass. It's been a really tough test for defenses to slow them down this season. Penn State's going to have to find a way to do that tomorrow if they're going to pick up this marquee win on the road and continue this undefeated season. We'll have the call tomorrow, 12 o'clock on Penn State's Com Radio. Thanks, Preston and Logan, and I'm not going to lie, one of 3 undefeated matchups in college football this upcoming Saturday. I'm excited, aren't you?
I'm so excited, John. The anticipation is at an all-time high, especially here on Penn State's campus. All the students are prepared and super excited for this big-time game.
Absolutely, and it could shake up some Big Ten East Division standings. Well, that'll do it here for Week 8. For our entire crew, I'm John Drager.
And I'm Austin Groff. Tune in next week for some more District 6 high school football action here on After the Whistle.